So this video is all about macro photography, and I need to grow up. What we're going to do is we're going to go down into the studio shortly and show you how we got some of these absolutely beautiful macro images that you're seeing on the screen now, because it's very simple and the results are actually, I think they're surprisingly good. I love the fact they look so luxurious and infinite. It's a really nice way of very quickly and easily spicing up your social media platforms, isn't it, with some great photographs. So we're going to go into the studio now and show you what we came up with, and in the process of doing that you're going to get an idea as to how well the Xperia 1 Mark II does in macro photography against the Huawei P40 Pro, the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, and just for a bit of added context, what we're filming on now, which is the Sony mirrorless camera, the A7 III, we're going to throw that in the mix as well, so you get a really full picture of which phones do best and just how well they do. As ever, we want to know your thoughts, so let us know in the comments section below, and we will include all of these images. The files will be underneath in the video description, so if you want to see them without any YouTube compression, that's where they're going to be. I'll see you in the studio in just a sec. Cheers. Oh, by the way, if you are not subscribed, make sure you are, and that you smash the notification bell, because very soon we are jumping on a plane and going to Miami, where we will be bringing you some incredible rooftop reviews from, well, you've probably seen this skyline of Miami. It's absolutely stunning. We can't wait for that. New iPhones, new Pixel, new Sony Xperia 5 Mark II, all of those videos coming to you from Miami. Make sure you're subbed. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so then this tutorial here, the most important thing is to get some absolutely beautiful wallpapers. You'll see the ones we've chosen here. The next trick is to make sure that you're doing this on a laptop, by the way, is flip the wallpapers upside down. You're going to need to do this because the mirror is going on the keyboard of the laptop facing upwards, and of course, well, you know, mirrors. Then of course you take your objects. We've got some beautiful Russian dolls and a sword, this is a Game of Thrones thing. I never really got into Game of Thrones, but for those of you out there that did, this is for you. So yeah, that's how we've got these images, and I think straight away you'll see they just look so impressive, don't they? It's a really nice little trick, and my goodness, it makes the images look just sort of infinite and really, really beautiful. So here's how the phones got on. So here we are then with the Xperia 1 Mark II and these matryoshka. There we go, that's the word of the day today, matryoshka. It's a new one on me, I have to admit. I call these things Russian dolls, but there we go, what do I know? We could get close with the Xperia 1 Mark II, but not quite as close as we could with the P40 Pro or the S20 Ultra. The only major stumbling block we had here with the Xperia 1 Mark II was just handling those highlights, trying to kind of deal with those whilst keeping the macro photography looking super sharp and nice and clean. Let's move on to the next set of Russian dolls here with the P40 Pro. Here's what we think. Yeah, so the P40 Pro, not as natural looking, you know, the colors here as on the Xperia 1 Mark II. We expected that, but my goodness, the level of detail is absolutely extraordinary, and maybe that's, well, I'm sure it is helped by the fact that we were able to get just that bit closer, which really helps with these beautiful macro photography shots. I really, really like this. I don't want to give the game away, as I said before, but you can probably tell this is shaping up pretty nicely. Now let's move on to the Samsung S20 Ultra. So here on the S20 Ultra, we felt it was sort of between the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II and the P40 Pro. Slightly more natural colors perhaps, beautiful amounts of detail, not as natural looking as the Sony. Generally speaking though, it's a really nice image. So with the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, we felt that the biggest problem we have here is the over sharpening. You can probably see it there yourself. Other than that though, almost as natural, color-wise as the Sony, but not quite. Overall, pretty serviceable, no major issues. Just wish the over-sharpening wasn't quite this severe. So with the mirrorless camera here that we love to use, the A7 III, I mean, for me, it's kind of in a class of its own. It's got the natural look to the colors that we absolutely love about Sony cameras, including the ones on the Xperia 1 Mark II. The difference is, though, we do have that detail and we can manage the highlights a little easier than we can on the 1 Mark II. So yeah, this really is something special. Now let's do it all again, but with a much tougher challenge. This time around, we're going with the Game of Thrones sword, for all you Game of Thrones fans out there. Yeah, this is really tough because you can see from the detailing on the sword, and I want to know your opinion on how well these phones are performing, especially on this challenge, because this is really, really difficult. As you can see, the Sony is struggling here again with these highlights. The P40 Pro, now moving on here, does a much better job. I mean, this is, I'm just going to say it, this is my favorite when it comes to macro photography. I really love the look of this. It's so detailed, but it just looks so good. Moving on to the Samsung though, again, it's kind of overkill, isn't it? It's between the Sony and the P40 Pro in terms of colors, but it's almost working too hard here, and yeah, I'm not really feeling this at all. But again, it is subjective as much as any other test we do here when it comes to photography, so we want to know your thoughts. So they are the images that we managed to capture here in this macro photography shootout. What we want to know is which images you prefer. As ever, we're going to put the files in the video description below so you can check them all out without any compression to worry about if you want to do that. For us, we felt the Huawei P40 Pro was the surprise winner here, but it was very closely followed by the Sony and the Samsung. Beautiful images without any question. However, obviously it's unfair to compare these with a mirrorless like the one we're filming on now, but that was class, wasn't it? Overall though, I think you'll agree, it's a really nice effect. You'll see the images on our Instagram. By the way, if you don't follow us on social media, I definitely recommend it, because when we get to Miami, we'll be going crazy on social media. And then I'm not sure how long we're going to be in Miami, but we'll be going on to another city after that for more rooftop reviews. So yeah, the social media thing is really going to get going for us now. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of these images, and I will see you next time. On behalf of myself and the BTech team, thank you so much for watching.